and welcome to everyone. I was feeling into what might be most useful today, and I think of attention as a whole context. We usually think of giving and receiving attention. In my mind, is I sort of narrow my attention and I give you some, or I narrow it and I give me some. It's kind of linear and pointy. And it comes, I think, from people saying, pay attention, which to me is a big contraction. And what I was realizing is that attention really expands the possibility for connection. It creates a context that can be felt. It's not just that you see it and you notice somebody giving you attention, you can literally feel it. And what I was realizing the other day, I was going outside and it felt very chilly. And then I went around the corner and the sun was out. And I instantly felt ah, this of that I could, and I didn't even realize I had been a little bit contracted, but in the sun, I felt this freedom to just expand and be even more present in all of myself rather than toward the core of me. And so one of the great benefits of learning how to do loop of awareness is that you create like a little bubble around you, a little space bubble, a little presence bubble around you that you carry from place to place. You're your own little sun walking around and giving the opportunity for others to experience that warmth and that connection, even if they don't kind of know where it's coming from. And so I love being a source of kind of radiant. I love also radiant heat is, I think, the friendliest heat. It doesn't burn you. Radiant heat, you can absorb as much of it as you want, and it allows everything in you to have a sense of playing and loosening and connecting. And so that was what I wanted to invite you into, is the kind of shifting your attention that is taking that whole sense of the warmth and the presence that you feel, and then just opening that outward and seeing and noticing what you're attending to, and then bringing it back to you. Because the other thing that was occurring to me, so bring that ball of warmth and radiance or sun back into you, and then notice where that wants to travel in you. So there's noticing and then following. So we usually notice and then bounce off the other direction. So what if you noticed and followed? So for me, when I let that private little ball of sun land on me, and I'm then following it goes right down into my sits bones, and a kind of a little bouncing quality of I felt this expansion, so that I can experience my sits bones, what I'm actually sitting on in the chair. They're kind of doing a little, oh yes, you noticed, and they're doing a little wiggle, and then I can follow, where else does that attention go? So instead of having a ping pong match, sending it out, sending it back, bringing that warmth to you, and then following, where does it want to shine on? Where does it want to expand in you? So you're favoring more giving attention to you. And I'm noticing several of you letting your body follow. So this is I would call it an active meditation. It's not like a silent meditation. It's an active following and letting your body respond, because our culture has pretty much frozen spontaneous response, because of fear. And so using your attention also breaks up those fear patterns of freezing or withdrawing, and so letting your body respond to giving that ball of you and let it radiate. And I can feel my body wanting to turn so that I'm feeling it all over and letting it, oh, and my feet are saying, what about me? What about me? So I can let it scoop on down to my legs. And you can also add in, this would be a great time to add in love scoops. So that ball of energy, if there's any place you want to give yourself just additional absorption, you can use touch. You can also use sound for additional absorption. So the is a great percolator. Oh, I love that word, percolating, letting all of that yumminess percolate through you, and the So feeling what combination of those you would like to use, of between love scoops and letting your body respond, and humming. So you get more attention to you, to fill your reservoir, because I know part of the reason that you are on this call is that you are willing to give. You're not just a receiver, you're willing to give. And so I want to especially nourish the givers, because we forget to give to ourselves. So the focus especially for this week, as we're everything is pretty chaotic everywhere. I'm thinking of the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once. We've got that in spades right now. And I don't know why I referenced a card game. I think that's just one of those spades and digging. So when you after you've given yourself attention and you've let that percolate, the other thing I notice right away is that my whole system slows down. So that of resting into presence. We spend our presence, I think, pretty profitably, rather than really choosing where we're going to give our attention. So one of the other great benefits of loop of awareness is that it breaks up your attention patterns and gives you a chance to really notice, where does my attention want to go now? Also, I have found that my practicing loop of awareness has greatly enhanced my intuition, which was already, pretty darn good, but I mean, accurate and expansive. And, like just the other day, I thought of somebody, and like a half an hour later, I got an email from her, hadn't heard from her in, a couple of years. And so I go, oh, cool. I'm each of us can enhance our other ways of connecting. So intuition is another way of deeply connecting inside you and through you into the universe, into the cosmos, and then letting that inform how you're wanting to act out in the world. So when you favor yourself and giving attention to yourself, it really does pump the engine of your being able to give attention in ways that make a difference in your world, in your community. So I want to just have you practice a couple of times, finding your rhythm of first imagining that radiant sun and it's landing on you, and where in that you want it to percolate. So combining a sun and a water image there. It's also a sun and a coffee image for those of you who are coffee drinkers, percolating. And then there's a certain point where I find that naturally my attention wants to go out. It's not that it has to or I should. There's a natural, oh, and now, And when I let my attention go outward, first thing I notice is that I notice more color. So there's an actual effect, I think, on your perception of giving yourself, richly giving yourself attention, that it opens up your perception, your point of view, your aperture, what you're able to see, what you're able to take in. So I, particularly, I think we're going to have a pretty rocky year this year. So I want to invite you to be favoring you. Because there's so many things that want your attention. There's so many things that legitimately are going, hey, me, hey, me, hey, we got to give it. And I think that it's very easy for givers to get drained because you see, feel, and want to give. And so the rhythm of first see, feel, and give to you. So when you're touched by these various chaotic and tragedies and things that are going on in the world, first let yourself give attention to how you are responding. So for me, I keep touching my heart here because that's where I feel so affected. And I want to give attention to my heart and the back of my heart, where the oomph is. The back of your heart is where you have that oomph to actually change things and get things done. So letting your attention really move between the front and the back of your heart and letting that sun energy touch you first and really fill you up. If you did this for just a few minutes in the morning is when I like to do it because I'm setting up a blueprint for the day. If you let yourself do that, you filled your own fuel tank, you filled your own reservoir. And we're now up, 5 years ago, we had our reservoir was at 29%. Like, really critical. And this morning it was at 85%, which it hasn't been since 1998. So, and we also thought, well, we're in this total crisis. It's never going to change. So it also allows me to go, miracles can happen even in the midst of things we think, oh, this is really awful. So when you fill your own reservoir, you're ready. You're ready for innovations. You're ready for miracles. And so I really invite you to be giving yourself feeling and following, letting that percolate. And then notice, where is it that my attention wants to go? And if you find yourself going over into the shoulds, I should be, and this is where the can be very useful to shift you into, where does my creative brain and where does my heart and my creative brain, where does that want to be focusing? And then what you can be when you're letting your attention go outward, especially when I'm out in public, what I notice is that I'm open to connection. I'm much more open to noticing where the connection is possible. And I've had the most lovely kinds of surprising connections when I just let my own intuition follow, where is the connection, and had little presence connect play opportunities that not only I think enrich the other, but they totally enrich me. They add to filling the reservoir. So I invite you to let yourself also here on the call, let yourself use some of that outward attention to just notice if there's anybody here on the call that you want to give your attention to. Is anybody that you're going, oh, I think I'll just do a little, and letting that radiant energy out, and then receiving from the energy of the group, slurping that up and giving yourself love scoops from all of this. We're all here for the same purpose, which is to expand our presence so that we can connect and collaborate, connect and play. So scoop it up. There's plenty. So when we're opening to the flow, there's always more because the reservoir whether that's down in under us, inside of us, or around us, is full. So I want you to be giving from overflow, not from depletion. So give yourself a second also to check into, how do I know my reservoir is full? How do I know I'm like, It's like when I was going out and I could feel the sun and I could feel that expanding my own aliveness. I'd like you to let yourself get curious this week about the signals that I'm full. And I was just remembering my grandmother would say to me, no, no, dear, you don't say full. You don't say I'm full. You say, I'm sufficiently satisfied. So when your reservoir is sufficiently satisfied, then you have plenty. So letting yourself realize there's plenty. We live in a society that functions on scarcity and fear, and hold on to what's yours and don't give anything to anybody else. But that's just a made up story. And there actually is plenty. So I'd like you to let yourself receive that and enjoy that. So I went a little bit over today, and now I'm going to cough. Got so excited. I overrode my take a drink signal. So now I would love to share with you the card that just came to me as we were preparing for today, as Michelle and I were preparing. So here is this lovely card. Oh, Michelle's got it. Super duper. So let yourself see. I just love, for me, it goes just with what we were talking about, which is, there we are, of giving yourself that rich attention and what comes out of that. So let yourself just take in this collage and notice how your body responds, not your mind necessarily, but how your body is receiving this. And then I'd like you to let yourself listen to this while you're looking at the picture. I'm open to connecting fully with my body intelligence and fully with the people in my life. So that's a loop of awareness description in action. I'm open to connecting fully with my body intelligence and fully with people in my life. And then the question, how can I connect fully with my body intelligence and with the people in my life? The how often gets left out. We go, oh, this would be just so great if we, connected more. But the how is literally what we've been practicing. So loop of awareness and love scoops allow you to develop your own how I can connect. So notice, let's come back to the group now. I love how you put the picture up. That's a great way of doing this. It's, really allows us all to share with each other. So for me, often the how is just some choice that I make to connect, to give my attention to. And then that often leads to a conversation or, some little movement play, like I was going past the Girl Scouts the other day. They were outside of the store. And so we had a little play of, do you want some Girl Scout cookies? And I went, oh, I love Girl Scout cookies, but my body doesn't like Girl Scout cookies. So I would like to give you the possibility of sharing those with some other people. So I gave them a donation. And so we just had this little play, but I also was echoing how they were moving. So when I gave them the donation, they got all wiggly, and then I got all wiggly, and we had just this little wiggle together movement, which was so nourishing to me and nourishing to them and supportive of their connecting with others from a sense of there's plenty. So your spontaneous giving yourself attention opens up more of your ability to connect, and then awakens that in others. And then that ripple out is what we can all generate wherever we are, with people that we see and even people we don't see. So the people that you don't know, you can reach them with your attention, even if you're not with them. So you can extend this to people around the world, the people that you care about, the people that you don't even know. So just it is actually also really important to say me first, me first. Now, and just even let yourself just say that. What happens when you say me first? You get all kinds of, but what about all the other that comes up? Yeah. So, letting this be an opportunity for you to go me first, and there's plenty. All right, super. Oh, thank you so much. And I'm going to go on to other adventures today, and look forward to seeing you next time. And thank you so much for being here and being part of the community. And I wish you a very magical and love-filled week. Until next time.